And what is it we supposed to be doing?
Being kind to one another. And being polite. Now, we is one people, and we shouldn't go in barging into other folks' places uninvited, so... We've been in and out of here all day.
Welcome back, everybody, to After Hours Reviews. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, but I'm also just very, very high. Also, I just rewatched Sinners so I could do this episode. Sinners, from the mind of Ryan Coogler, same person that gave us Fruitvale Station, Creed, as well as, of course, Black Panther from Marvel Studios. The man has done a lot of great films, and this one is no different. I wanted to do a whole big existential diatribe on Letterboxd, but I chose not to, because I don't think a lot of people understand why this is such a prevalent and important film. But let's first dissect a few things. Number one, as my cooler is starting to kick on for the air conditioning to hit up with my house. First thing is the obvious. Many people want to say this is just a discount From Dusk Till Dawn from Quentin Tarantino. Let's unpack how that is completely incorrect. Number one, From Dusk Till Dawn was mostly a story about kidnappers trying to escape to Mexico for various different reasons to sell off some people, while one of the brothers was also hinted to be a PDF file. So first and foremost, the main characters for this weren't escaping somewhere, they were returning somewhere. So first, let's break that down from there. Second thing is just the vampire aesthetics, from the vampires being from a club of sorts where Salma Hayek was the queen of the vampires, trying to kill everybody because, well, Mexico and vampires. Yeah, let's just break that apart for Remick, the main antagonist. Remick has a purpose for why he is here. It is illustrated a lot more with each watch that you do, that it's not as simple as a feeding frenzy. There is a purpose towards Remick's design that's more layered than just the simple he's a vampire trying to get a army of vampires shtick. Not as simple, but also way more layered than many people want to go into from the get-go. And just the fact of two brothers, again, you could have that for any narrative, so I don't understand why it's the whole From Dusk Till Dawn comparison when it's really not. They have a blueprint of similar features of two people doing something that involves vampires, but you could do that with anything. So I don't understand why that was the focal thing for Coogler's production when many other features have done this before and no one's really called it out for it, but they just choose this film in particular. Second thing that is meant to be addressed is, of course, many people saying how it's too big of sorts to be a film that's supposed to be well-respected, well-liked, and the hype does not seem to be justified because of how it seems rushed during one of these segments of the film that comes out from, I want to say, midpoint of Act 2 towards Act 3. Honestly, it's not. When you really look at it, it's honestly not. So, frankly, this is still the big issue. Where is the perspective coming from for this film? Well, let's actually look into the overall grandeur at play. The main characters, Elias and Elijah Moore, better known as the Smokestack Twins, are returning to Mississippi after ripping off two gangs in Chicago to start up a Club Juke, their own little small slice of heaven in Mississippi away from the plantations, because they want to give back to the community in a way where they don't have to keep running to look for paradise, to look for freedoms, to have something for themselves that's not going to be taken away from outside forces. As such, they gather up a cast of characters that actually do follow the mold for a lot of different things, but tragedy strikes when an Irish vampire that was coming through after being hunted by the Choctaw Native Americans were basically forming this small little army to take the focal character known as Sammy as one of his to sire, because Sammy has a gift with music to transcend the boundaries of time. His magic with music is something that is highly desired by humans and by the supernatural. So that whole focal element becomes the grandeur at play for what makes everything follow suit for the story to uphold later on. Now, from that whole precedence, I want to really look deeper into this, not just because it was highly conducive, it was highly skilled, it was well directed, well shot, choreograph was on point, makeup was incredible, blood effects not the best, but honestly blood effects are hard to do nowadays, and various other motifs just get down to the nitty gritty. What was this movie truly about, and who was this movie truly for? It wasn't for an audience like today that wants to just take stuff at face value. It's more or less people that want to look at what's between the lines and what's truly at the core of the narrative. One of the big things being that religion is not a safety net for everyone. It can be a prison. And in order to find solace, you have to find peace within yourself to move forward, like what many people find in Houdon or Voodoo, depending on how you do worship. The whole thing of choice coming from the Smokestack twins, where their own ideologies of choice lead towards their own fates, really is telling. Because from all of these things, Smoke and Stack really aren't terrible people. They do bad things, but they're not terrible people. Just like every other character showcases that it's not as simple as a black and white narrative. Even Remick as a villain isn't inherently evil when you look at what he's trying to do and obtain when it comes towards his goals. He's lived a long time, he's seen a lot of stuff from humanity, he's also been punished by religious prosecution, most notably from some other things, but he's not doing things out of abstract hatred. Is it warped in how he wants to do it? Of course it is. But is he a villain? Is he just purely evil? Again, no. Like, no one in this film is objectively evil, but they do make bad choices. That's something we don't really have for a narrative when it comes to characters like this, and it's honestly very fascinating the more you try to dissect it and really appreciate it for what it is. I honestly am seeing this from the lens of course, a minority. I will always see stuff like this from a director like Coogler or Peele or any sort of people like this because I want to see the beauty that comes from people that look like me, like have my melanin, even if I'm racially ambiguous. I like the fact that I can lean on directors, producers, showrunners like this, because this is something that I don't see all the time. I never get to see this all the time. It's very interesting, and it's something that I truly do appreciate. But I understand people that don't understand or don't want to dive into it. It's not a film for everyone. Some people want to take it objectively, some people want to look at it deeper. Am I one of those people that can see both sides? Of course, but I'll always be one of the people that says this is highly one of the greatest films that has come out in 2025 thus far. Is this going on my top 10 list? Of course it is. Might even be in the top 3. Will I finally release all of my older top 10 best movies of said year videos? Yes, those are on the way, I promise. It's just been a very trying time. Am I going to give a rating for this? Of course I am. I'm going to give this whole beauty of a film 12.3 out of 13. I want to say 6.5 out of 7 stars, and giving this A+. One of the best movies I got to see twice in a row, and I'm going to see the third time, baby. But now I'm going to gear up for, of course, Final Destination Bloodlines. Because we going to be kicking stuff off of my hard channel soon, bitch! Man, I am way too fucking hyped right now. I'm going to eat my cheesecake.
I'm on a different type of time, oh.